2024 has been a slow year for superhero movies. DC are taking a break before coming back next year with their Superman reboot. Sony gave us Madam Web, which nobody bothered to watch. And later this year they've got Venom 3 and Kraven the Hunter, which are likely to go the same way. And Marvel's only movie this year is Deadpool and Wolverine, which will almost certainly be the best superhero movie of the year, if only for lack of competition. After the excellent ending of Logan, I wasn't particularly interested in seeing Hugh Jackman come back. It was a great ending for Wolverine, so why spoil it? This movie starts by addressing that head on, with Deadpool literally digging up Logan's corpse, and launches into a hilarious opening credit sequence where he uses Logan's bones to slaughter a bunch of nameless goons to the tune of NSYNC. Absolutely one of the high points of the movie. This was marketed as being the movie that brings Deadpool into the MCU, but it's not really. There's only one scene where he visits the MCU and auditions for the Avengers, with the first of many surprise cameos, but I'll talk about those at the end. The movie's only just come out, so I don't want to spoil anything major. The rest of it is set in Deadpool's own universe, or in the TVA from Loki, which I guess is technically part of the MCU, but only for those who have Disney+. There is plenty of teasing for Deadpool becoming a major part of the MCU at some point in the future, but that's all. Matthew McFadden as Paradox is the main TVA boss and secondary villain of the piece. He's usually a very good actor, but he overdoes the comedy here and just comes across as very camp and over the top. It would have worked a lot better if the director had just asked him to rein it in a bit. After this, we get another standout sequence where Deadpool visits a bunch of alternate Wolverines. This is a real treat for comic fans, as we get to see various iconic looks, such as Patch in the brown suit, that have somehow never been adapted in previous Wolverine movies, as well as plenty of jokes like the comics accurate Wolverine, who's very short. The one we end up with for the rest of the movie is in the yellow and blue suit, which apparently made grown men cry when they saw it. I wouldn't go that far, as it looks a bit silly in live action, but I will admit when he puts on the mask towards the end, I was like, oh, now I get it. It's an iconic look, and it's great to see it in live action for the first time. Quite a bit of the movie is set in the void, which you may remember from season 1 of Loki, 3 years ago. It actually works a lot better here, as the cinematic budget has allowed them to turn it into a post-apocalyptic wasteland setting. So there's lots of references to Mad Max. There are a lot of excellent cameos from stars of past Marvel movies, which I'll talk about later in the spoiler section. But in general, this feels like it's on the same sort of level as No Way Home or Multiverse of Madness, bringing back fan-favourite Marvel characters from non-MCU movies, either played by the same actors or different ones. I'm glad that I rewatched all the Fox X-Men movies recently. Check the link in the description to see what I made of those. This is also where we meet the primary villain, Cassandra Nova, played by Emma Corrin. Unlike Matthew McFadden, she plays it completely straight and is absolutely chilling, especially when she sticks her fingers inside people's heads in order to read their minds. It's just a shame she couldn't have appeared in a proper X-Men movie. Seeing her face off against James McAvoy would have been amazing. As with the previous Deadpool movies, there's a lot of extreme gore and violence, much inventive swearing and talk of sex acts, so being in the MCU hasn't changed that one bit. There's a lot of gratuitous fight scenes between Deadpool and Wolverine, which get a bit repetitive as they can't really hurt each other, and a lot of the fight scenes have a soundtrack of pop hits from the 80s and 90s, which is starting to get a bit predictable after all the Deadpool and Guardians of the Galaxy movies did exactly the same thing. But there is a great fight scene towards the end, where the dynamic duo fight off against 100 different Deadpool variants to the tune of an orchestral version of Like a Prayer, which works extremely well, but mainly because it looks like it's been done in just 1 or 2 long takes. So it's a really impressive piece of cinema. Overall, it's another highly enjoyable entry in the series. Maybe not essential, but a lot of fun for long-term fans. I'll give it 8 out of 10. Okay, now we come to the spoiler section. If you haven't seen the movie yet, then press like or subscribe, and come back to this once you have. There are some really great surprise cameos throughout. Chris Evans as Johnny Storm from the Fantastic Four movies is an absolute highlight, and he also steals the end credit scene by talking complete filth. Channing Tatum as Gambit is even better than Taylor Kitsch was in The Last Stand, nailing the look of the character from the comics and the animated series, and with plenty of jokes about his thick Cajun accent. And we also get Daphne Keane back as Laura from Logan. She doesn't have as much to do as I'd like, but it's great to see her back, and she does have a touching scene with this version of Wolverine, which acts as a kind of epilogue to Logan. Henry Cavill is apparently in it as one of the alternate Logans. but he's not that recognisable an actor, so I wouldn't have realised it was him. He hadn't been name dropped. It might have worked better if they'd used Daniel Radcliffe in that scene. In the end, there's no real integration of the Deadpool characters into the Marvel universe. Instead, the Deadpool universe gets to carry on with a few new characters added into the mix. I don't know if Hugh Jackman will play Wolverine again. He's already 55, so he'd be pushing 60 if they did another one. But they could always go back to the old man Logan well. Ryan Reynolds will be playing Deadpool for as long as he's allowed. The weird makeup is getting noticeably less and less extreme with each passing movie. So by the time of the next one, he'll probably just look like he's slightly sunburned. His supporting cast are only in this one at the beginning and end. Hopefully they'll get more to do if they make Deadpool 3. Or 4. Whatever they call it, there's bound to be another, and let's face it, I'll be there for it. So that's it for now. The next movie I see will probably be Alien Romulus in a few weeks' time. So press subscribe if you want to see what I think of that, and I'll see you next time.